Bishop, this is a Baptist pastor. Okay. So I got to go to you. Had it been an atheist pastor, I would went to you.
Wait.
Okay. So I have to go to you because it's a Baptist pastor. Or if it had just been a white supremacist pastor, then I would defer to you. Okay. So I mean, just throwing that out there.
No, he's from Portland. He gets the rainbows.
Oh, he gets the rainbows.
Hey, any other titles I get? Can we all just read the cards that I just got? Atheist, white supremacist, and rainbow guy.
Sums up Portland. There you go.
Is that not accurate of Portland, or is that pretty Portlandish?
That's pretty dead on.
Okay. In Nikes, though. In Nikes.
In Nikes. Talk about we don't wear sweatshops.
Hey, welcome to Not Offended Podcast. It's your boy, Anthony Conservative Chicano. I got my guys here. I got the Bishop. I got the Token. We're going to get right to it. We're just going to get right to it. We ain't playing around. We got no time to waste. Yes, my Boston Celtics are out of the playoffs, so therefore, I got no time to. There's no sports for me right now, Mike. There's no sports. There's nothing for me to watch.
I'm excited for the NBA playoffs right now.
Do you even know who's in it still?
I do.
Who's in it?
That
one team?
Okay.
That one team?
OKC. It's the Thunder, the Timberwolves.
Okay. Who you got?
Both of which I got the Timberwolves.
Okay, you got the Timberwolves. Okay.
Just because I think it'd be fun.
Okay.
And then you got New York and Indiana.
Okay, there you go. You got up for it.
So
who do you got out of that one? New York and Indiana.
If I'm betting with my heart, I want to see the Knicks go all the way.
Okay. Just
or the Knicks versus Timberwolves.
Are you just saying because you like Spike Lee and he just
I know
just needs
I don't like Spike Lee.
Oh, we don't like Spike Lee.
But I think you
didn't like Do the Right Thing?
No, I just don't like Spike Lee.
Okay.
He's just I just don't like Spike Lee.
Well, okay. Anyway.
But it'd be fun to see Anthony Edwards go to New York for the championship.
Oh, just because he just talks so much.
Yeah, just fun.
That's
yeah.
good. What about you? You got any dogs in this fight? You care less?
No, so there's going to be a new champion.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's why it's good. I think Nate and I talked about it earlier. I think the Knicks won in like 70.
Nate, the producer over here. Yep.
Yeah, I think the Knicks won in like 72.
None of us were born. Can we just say that? That made me feel real good. You were
born
sure
this side of the
sorry,
table
I was going to
wasn't.
give you 73, but it's okay. It's okay. One of us was born.
Timberwolves never won it.
That's true.
Pacers never won it.
That's true.
And
although they got close with Reggie,
I know,
big time Miller.
Yeah. And then Thunder never won it. So that's why I said it's fun to watch this year.
So are you gonna watch it?
I'll try.
You gonna watch it?
I'll try.
Okay.
If there's 7 games, I'll probably be able to see one or two.
Okay, yeah, okay. Well, I just want you to know, so I have a lot of time on my hand because I ain't watching anything. So that's why we're going to get right to it. We're just going to get straight to it. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like, the share, the comment button, and don't forget to share this with somebody who you think this is going to help. Okay, shout out to the No. I got something for you guys. I can't remember if somebody sent it to me or if my algorithm picked it up, but I want you guys to watch this because now, are you born in Fresno or are you born in Sanger? Where were you born?
Fresno.
Okay, Fresno. What hospital were you born at here, Fresno?
I don't know what it's
called. Were you born in a hospital?
I was born in a hospital. It's a hospital that is closed now. It's an older hospital. One by Roosevelt.
Okay, by Roosevelt. Mm-hmm. Do you know VMC? Okay. Okay, what's that? What does that stand for? Okay, I thought it was Vatos. No. Okay, you're born in Portland?
Portland. Kaiser Permanente on the interstate.
Okay, well, I was born in San Diego, naval base. So, all right, so you're local to Fresno. You're local to Fresno? Pardon us. He's born in Clovis. Sorry, bro.
Please,
sorry. Okay,
please get it right.
Yeah.
Please.
Put some respect on my name. Well, okay. So I think I showed this last time. You're so Stockton. I'm from Stockton. This is how you know you're from Stockton. They went through this whole thing. Well, get a load of this right here. Watch this.
Hey, I'm from Fresno, where supporting your local college team could get you shot. Nah, for real, bro.
I'm from Fresno, where the police will pull you over if you look like me.
I'm from Fresno, where everybody got a DUI. And if you don't, you go and get one.
I'm from Fresno, where it's a place called River Park. No river, no park, and nowhere to park.
I'm from Fresno, where people raised in Clovis will claim Fresno to get street cred. What? Get out of here.
I'm from Fresno, where the Fresno Fair is a place you take your kids to have fun, but instead you see them get into a fight. You better win, too.
I'm from Fresno, where if you get barked at, it's probably not from an animal.
I'm from Fresno, where Fresno don't even support their own local artists. What's up with that?
I'm from Fresno. When people from out of town ask me what to do, I say you gotta be here to know where to go. Or go to Tower District.
I'm from Fresno, where everybody wake up and their first choice of drink is liquor. You ain't got no water in your fridge?
I'm from Fresno, where there's winners and there's losers. and all the losers are Raider fans.
Bruh, I'm a Raider fan. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm from Fresno, where we all know if you went to Bullard, you a
What? I went to Bullard, bro.
Exactly.
We're from Fresno, where only Fresno people can talk bad about the city. For real?
If you're not from here, don't do it. Tread lightly.
Tread lightly. 559 to the 357.
357.
We're really from Fresno.
Okay. Let me get some first thoughts. What'd you think? That was for you guys. I got this just for you guys. What'd you think?
There's some stuff that's pretty spot on. You know, get barked at by not a dog. Yeah, that's
right. What'd you think? You're Fresno native, so what'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, repping your home team or college team can get you shot.
Yeah. Okay, you guys laughed a little too extra hard on the Raider comment.
It was funny.
No, it wasn't.
He said if you go to Bullard.
Yeah, that was the funniest one.
Okay, the Bullard one, that was funny. Okay, so I wanted to play that. You guys chime in. What'd you think of that? We had to bleep out a little bit because, you know, we got to keep it PG on the Not Offended podcast. We offend everybody, but we got to at least do it in PG, all right? But I thought that was good. I love these things. When I played the Stockton one, or when I saw the Stockton one, it says, you know, you're from Stockton when your car gets stolen at least once. And the other guy goes, maybe twice. I was like, oh, that's so Stockton. But I thought it was good. I love people. We talked about comedy last week. And we talked about there's got to be a little bit of truth in it, right?
That's why the DUI comment wasn't.
Okay. That was.
Everybody's got a DUI. If you don't have one, you're going to get one.
That's what, like I said, what makes good comedy is that little bit of truth in there. And so, hey, you chime in if you have another one that you're from Fresno. If go ahead and put it in the comment box, but keep it PG, please. We got to make sure it's a family show. All right, so I wanted to just throw this out there, get you guys' thoughts on something. I want to talk about something that's trending. Not sure if you guys are aware of, but yesterday, I think it was either in the morning or afternoon because it popped up on my Apple News alert that Joe Biden was, former President Joe Biden was diagnosed with prostate cancer. And I'm not a cancer specialist, but apparently the cancer has spread and had metastasized to his bones. So he also has that as well. So, of course, we have no animus against, former President Joe Biden. I do pray he recovers. I pray he gets well. I pray for his family. That's got to be a hard diagnosis. However, though, just throwing this out there, I did find it interesting, and I'm not saying he doesn't have cancer, but I did find it interesting why they didn't release that sooner, because I know as you get older, which you guys don't know yet, okay, Jeremy, I'm just talking to me and you. These young bucks don't know anything. He for sure don't know it. But as you get older, you're supposed to get your prostate checked once a year. Now, as you enter into your 60s, depending on family history, it could go up to twice a year. If it's in your family, though, you're talking this could be every 90 to 120 days. Like this is really colon and prostate. This is really serious. So I don't know. From what I read, and once again, I'm not a doctor, it just sounded like this thing had gotten rather large rather quickly. Well, how did you miss it on the last physical? So to me, everybody, I'm not the one saying it, but everybody's kind of speculating like, hey, did you guys conceal this? Now, it does come off the heel of his arraignment when he was interviewed about having stuff at his house. I think this was in 23. And this audio of his arraignment got leaked, and it was very poor. You could tell there was some cognitive decline. There was some mumbling of words. There were some things to be questioned. And so everybody's kind of speculating right now and just saying, hey, are you guys being honest with us? Can we see full medical records? In other words, had he been battling cancer? Was he on some type of stuff? What was his cognitive decline? Matter of fact, I'm not just saying this from like the Fox News Network. CNN, Van Jones came on. I mean, it's on every network right now. People are going, hey, were we hoodwinked? Were we really? Now, me being a believer, I say it doesn't make any difference. What's done is done. What we really should be believing for and praying for is that his health does recover and that he does do well. I don't like to see anybody suffer. That's not how I am. But I do understand why people are speculating and why they are a little frustrated and flustered, to be honest with you. But what did you hear about it before I told you that President Joe Biden former president had cancer? Had you heard about that?
Yeah, I think I heard it. What you said yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
Oh, here we go. But
I like those types of movies, like the Bourne movies and things like that, because I think there's always a little bit of truth in them.
Okay.
And so it's like I just think I'm looking through this in the lens of kind of like one of those movies, and I could totally see that he has like some very late stages of dementia where you decline really fast. I mean, my grandmother passed from dementia. Like, I mean, it kills you.
Yeah, it does.
You learn, you forget how to swallow, and that's one of the biggest ways that you'll die. And so I could see him dying from things that did affect his presidency, and that they're going to put it off on this. And so I don't necessarily believe that he has cancer. If he does, he has it in addition to.
Got you.
But
do you think? So do you feel like they're just trying to save face?
Oh yeah,
or something?
They're. Man, am I gonna get the Secret Service knocking at my door? Okay, I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay.
If he declines fairly fast.
Okay.
And they blame it on this.
Got you. Okay.
But the reality is that this is just smoke and mirrors, and that there was some other stuff that was going on.
But you're not alone. If you go all over, and by the way, this is what makes it truly unique. It's not just on what we would call the conservative, on the conservative threads. This is on everybody's thread. Like I'm telling you, Van Jones, David Axelrod, these are hardcore, Democrats coming out saying the same thing. Hey, y'all got to be honest, because we were out here defending and we were doing all this. That was my surprise. I didn't expect to see that yesterday when I was looking on the various threads, because I have so many different threads because I try to be well versed and well rounded. But to me, that kind of threw like a little alarm on me. So I don't necessarily disagree with you. I'm just at the point, Bishop, where I'm like, I don't think it really matters. What's done is done. We should be praying for the person's health. I don't know. I do see the frustration, though. We shouldn't be lied to. I do get that, especially from the medical profession when it comes to our president, because they do hold, the nuclear suitcase or the buttons or whatever. I mean, I get all that. But I think now we should, I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I was shocked that it snuck up on it be this bad. Obviously, I would think you have the best medical care. I didn't think any of the other conspiracy stuff that you guys were thinking about. But
now that I said it, you're really thinking, yeah.
No, I wasn't. But I'm like, how do you let it go that far? Like, that's
so do I feel like you're kind of in the middle too? Like, are you kind of like, hey, we probably should have known this sooner, and if so, we probably should have disclosed
not even
it?
us, but he should have. Like, he should have been. But I mean, if he's going that far, how do you let it go that far without being checked?
Believe it or not, I'm not fully on his conspiracy theorist train over there. Although I am the conspiracy theorist person, but I'm not fully. But I'm going to meet him in the middle. I think they did, Bishop. To be honest with you, I think they did know. And I do understand, once again, the people's frustrations. Because here's what I try to do.
How to get that bad then? That's the
because they can't say. They can't say, hey, we've known that he's had prostate cancer for 2 years, but we're only releasing it now. Because then everybody else says, well, what else did he have
that you didn't tell us about?
Yeah, but he could have had surgery then.
Well...
He may have.
He may have had that. He may have had chemo. I'm with him. He may have had a lot of stuff. I will say this, though. The only reason I'm even giving this any type of conversation, even on this podcast, is because had it been the other way around, and this was all about Donald Trump, everybody would be up in arms. And I'm with you. You got to call fair. And so I feel like I'm trying to, do that. Be fair is fair. And that's why I'm at the point where I'm past it. I do think we need to hold other people in accountability and in check, but that's the whole government, if you ask me. Like, we need checks and balances. So, okay. Now, another thing, I can't believe that broke this weekend was former FBI director. Can we go ahead and put that up right there? Okay. Former FBI director James Comey is to be escorted by Secret Service to Washington, D.C. for an interview after he appeared to call for the assassination of President Trump in a now deleted social media post. Somebody put, it looks like Rocks in the Sand 8647, which apparently is a call, some type of numeric call to assassinate the president. Now, and this is from his social media account. Now, him being the former director, security advisor, all this stuff, former FBI director, he knows what these numbers mean. So he's trying, from what I read, is he was claiming somebody hacked or it was a mistake or something. I know this. I don't think we should. It is my opinion. After President Trump has been multiple attempts on his life, I don't think this is something we should actually joke about or tongue in cheek or seashells in the seashore, on the sand or rocks. I don't ask for anybody to be killed. And I think we ought to be extra careful about this. I don't know. What do you think? Is this the first hearing about this one?
So he did this recently when he wasn't the director.
Yeah, this is just like a couple days ago.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't believe it.
which part? You think somebody hacked his account, or what do you think?
Yeah.
He can't be that stupid,
No,
can he?
no,
that
no,
dumb?
No.
Ignorant.
No.
What would we call this? We can't say idiot, because that's your favorite line, but he's not an idiot. He can't be this stupid?
Yeah.
what
I mean,
would we say?
just so flippant.
Okay.
You know what I
Great
mean?
word,
Just
flippant.
like-
We'll go with it.
Just like to use your soul. I mean, he knows every in and out. He knows like what would happen in the event that somebody else were to do this. Like if he wanted to actually, have somebody assassinate the president, this is not the avenue that this guy would go.
Right. So what do you think's going on?
Somebody
Okay.
did something to his account.
China.
China. Let's go. Hey, you know what? When in doubt, you can blame it on one or two countries: Russia or China. Yeah. You think there's a whole nothing burger right here? You think
I don't know enough about it. I mean, it sounds crazy though. It doesn't sound like, man, he had to lose his mind. He's obviously a smart dude. He understands.
He knows
He
everything.
was the right director, so he knows this is gonna cause some issues.
exactly?
Like he's not like a senator or somebody else who may not know. Like you know everything. You know what's going to happen to anybody who does something like this at your level.
But just what an interesting weekend. Like this has been a crazy weekend for stuff that happened.
Just imagine what you don't know.
That's the even crazy part. I'm only saying all this. The only reason I'm saying all this is, as believers, we are not to be sleepwalking. As believers, God is coming back for a prepared people. And I think all these things, I had a great conversation with the brother from the church. We were talking about AI. We were at the same birthday party. And we were talking about AI, and we were talking about, forgive me, I don't know Elon Musk, the robots he's making. I don't know what they're called, but they got a name, but it doesn't matter to me. He was talking about how this technology, the whole goal is to get 2 of these in every home. I started talking about the Neuralink and how that really could be a game changer for people. So we started talking about all this, and in the middle of the conversation, him and I, we stopped and we go, hey, it's kind of really happening. Like technology is really, really multiplying very fast. And there's this great sense of awareness that came over me, and we joked and we go, it's about time for the Lord to come back. Like that's how I feel like, and I know every generation says this, we're closer now than ever before, but I think with all this stuff going on, we are truly closer now than ever before. Like I don't think they were sitting back in the 1800s thinking that robots were really going to be in the house as your personal servants. And what do people do for a living if robots are doing everything, driving you, doing your job, all this stuff? AI is just changing the game, period, when it comes to all things needing to be written. So I'm going somewhere with this. I just think now we have to be keenly aware, because God is coming back for prepared people, and all these things, we should be more prepared. So what I wanted to do in another add-on to our segment is, as you know, we take reading the Bible very seriously. We believe in the wind and the move of the Spirit, but we also believe in the infallible Word of God. We believe in that sword. And so, as you know, we have our Bible reading plan, and we're going through Genesis. And I'm trying to get a feel of Genesis, because I feel like every chapter brings a new adventure. Like we got somebody trying to walk backwards because their dad is naked, drunk, passed out. Or we're trying to build a Tower of Babel, which I thought was a language learning program. And you know what I mean? So like we're seeing all this happen. So I thought we'd have a little bit of fun as pastors. And I just wanted to ask you guys, out of last week's readings, we'll start with you, the token, because, we just got to start with you. Out of last week's reading, did you read anything that kind of caught you off guard? And if so, why don't you go ahead and let everybody know who's watching, what caught you off guard?
I was actually out of today's reading in Genesis 11. And I may be pronouncing his name wrong, but Terah became the father. So Genesis 11, verse 27. Mm-hmm. Terah became the father of Abraham, Nahor, and Haran. And just thinking like, man, life ain't fair. Like, out of the 3, like one got to be the chosen one.
Oh yeah, Abraham, yeah.
And so I just was thinking like, man, why he got chosen? Like, and so it got me thinking like, man, you never know like why you sometimes but you may never know in certain situations like why God does what he does. There's 3 brothers, only one gets chosen,
and one dies young, early.
So anyway,
yeah.
that was just kind of my like, man, it's interesting.
We would call that God's sovereignty, wouldn't we, Bishop? God chooses who he chooses.
Yeah.
That's what he said. Matter of fact, who did he say? He told that to somebody. I'll choose who I want to choose. I can't remember. I think it's to one of the prophets. He said, I choose who I want to choose. I put my hand on who I want to put my hand. And I was thinking to myself, well, ain't that like God? I will do whatever. I'll do whatever I want to. And it's kind of like, and what you going to say? What you going to do? I wish you would. I'm over here going,
Where
I'm
were
not
you,
going to.
Job?
Oh, that's the worst chapter ever. Tell me,
where were you?
does that not chin check you every time? I feel bad for Job. I mean, I know. Peace out to the homie Job. I know he's dead. Poor little on the curb for him. But I mean, I still feel bad for the brother. He's been dead for thousands of years. I'm like, Job, man, that was bad. It's a bad move, Job. It's like kind of getting that butt whooping for Job, even though he already got that butt whooping, but you still feel the pain.
Yeah, it's like time for me to go home.
Oh, that's a for sure. It's like when your best friend's about to get beat. I gotta go.
I gotta go.
Yeah.
When your mom's not here yet, I'll walk.
Yep, sure will. I'll meet her halfway. What about you, Bishop? What did you read last week that kind of stood out to you that maybe you want to share with the people who are tuning in? By the way, if you do not have a Bible reading plan, jump on in with us. We're in the book of Genesis. You can download the Adventure Bible app. We read one chapter at a time. We discuss it. We have a good time in our small groups. And most of all, if we have questions, we ask questions. Or we all sit there and stare at each other like, what do we do with this chapter? Because we don't know what to do. And that's totally okay. We know as long as you read the word will read you. So, Bishop, what do you have for us? What do you got?
One that had, we talked about another one earlier, but I'm going to talk about this one. It says when Adam had lived 130 years, he became the father of He became the father of a son in his own likeness, according to his image, and named him Seth. We always think of people made in the image of God, so it's always, so that's what it said. But it's interesting that Seth this refers to he was in the likeness of Adam, but obviously Adam was in the likeness of God,
Of course.
But I just thought it was interesting, just the phrasing of it. Just like we pass on our image, but we bear the image of God, and we keep passing that on to the next generation.
Why do you think Moses is writing this? Why do you think he flipped a script there? And now they're born in the image of Adam. I actually know this answer. I mean, by the way, this is more of a Jewish traditional teaching, so just throwing that out there.
God is. Adam is made in the image of God.
Okay, so
Something to do with sin nature.
it is. So when Adam was created by God, what was the? I'm going to say hierarchy, or what was the order? So we know the order when Adam was made. It was spirit, soul, flesh. You know what I mean? As far as prioritization of a person. After Adam's fall, what happens? It's reversed.
Flesh.
It's flesh, soul, spirit. So that's why they believe the author said this is why he's made in the image of Adam. He's not made in the image of God. Adam had that chance, blew it, and now everybody else is in that damned nature, right? They're in that fallen state. So anyway, I learned a lot. I don't think you remember. I don't know if you remember this. Maybe you do. But in 2020, you turned me on to a rabbi. And this is how I know a lot of this stuff. I tell people all the time, if you want to learn the Old Testament, find you a good rabbi. I mean, they master this. Like they start reading it, at, 10, 11, 12. And they go through it every year. So, and they've had thousands of years of commentary for people to really know. Anyway, I throw that out there. I found a new podcast. Shout out to John and Priscilla Bohr. They gave me a new podcast where it's actually a pastor and a Messianic rabbi, and they go through, like, we're in Genesis right now, so I've been really captivated by Genesis because we're actually going through it. Nate, I'll go ahead and send that podcast to you. We'll put it in the link. I think the correct way to say it, the Bema podcast, but it's one of those words where you don't really know how to say it. So, but I'll put a link to that. So if you guys are interested in tuning into that, I think you'll be blessed because they're in Genesis. Right back at the beginning, they start in the book of Bereshit, Genesis. So here we go. Okay. I did this on purpose. I chose this on purpose, although I've been captivated by a lot of things. But Noah's Ark. I found it interesting. I had to look this up because I did not know it, and I haven't heard a teaching on it yet. Why didn't Noah release a raven first and then a dove? And I found out there's a couple different. There's a physical reason and a spiritual reason. The physical reason is ravens actually fly pretty far. So they will go further than a lot of the birds of the air because they are the ultimate scavengers. They learn how to survive. They got that dog in them. And so when he released the raven and he noticed the raven didn't get back, he knew that the water had receded some. It had receded enough for the raven to survive. But just because a raven could survive didn't mean that he could survive. That's why he sends out the dove. The doves are more tranquil. They're more peaceful. They stick closer to home. They're just tender in nature, and they're more fragile. So they need a certain living environment which that living environment is also conducive for us as humans. So when the dove came back with just a branch, he knew that the waters had receded enough that vegetation started to grow. But when he released it again and the dove did not come back, then the dove felt it was safe enough to start a new home and that he would be okay. And so Noah took that as a point in reference that, hey, we would be okay too. As soon as all the rest of the water goes down, we could thus inhabit the earth. Spiritually, we know one's a clean animal, one's an unclean animal. And we also know that the dove is also referred to as the Holy Spirit. In other words, it was a new day, a new time to begin. The old had passed away and the new had come in. So I thought that was really cool as I researched that and I studied that. And I thought, man, this was pretty cool about the whole Noah story. I chose that specifically because I came across this article on Friday. I'm going to put this up there. And so this would be in the lower corner. You guys could watch. The story of Noah's Ark is mocked, relegated to children's books in Sunday school, but now in a remote corner of Turkey, science is telling a different story, and it's one the faithful already knew. So thanks to this new 3D imaging, they are literally able to map this whole boat out, which they are claiming is Noah's Ark. Now, shout out to Ron Wyatt. I believe his first name was Ron. Yeah, Ron Wyatt. He discovered this many years ago. I think it was back in the 70s or early 80s. And then, of course, I think it was the Turkish government would no longer allow him to go over there and to excavate and to look at it. But he's been claiming this was Noah's Ark for the longest time. And now they are saying that this is, in fact, Noah's Ark. So, Bishop, my question to you is, now that this is almost indisputable evidence and indefutable evidence, will people give it the credit it is, the Bible that is? Will people start to give the Bible credit, or are they just going to write this off as it just happens to be circumstantial and coincidental?
Yeah, it is. My opinion, it has to look a little bit better than that. Yeah.
It is thousands of years old, though, bro. Come on.
Yeah. It looks like when they show Mars and they're like, there's living stuff on Mars. That don't look like living stuff to me.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying, if we could go excavate it, the wood, we would be able to really show it really nicely. But will this convince anybody, or are people just people and ain't nothing gonna convince them?
No, this probably ain't gonna convince anybody.
Yeah. I thought the same thing, but to us as believers, what does that do for us? To me, that just shows me we're on the right track.
Yeah, for sure. Just reinsurance.
Who about you? You think it's gonna convince anybody?
Nah, I'm not even really convinced. But Shroud of Turan, though. That shroud, dude, that was.
I love your chest pair. It's like, man, I don't even think it is.
I don't know. I'm looking at that going, I don't know. It looks like, when they do satellite images of hurricanes and stuff. I'm like,
the red is where the hell is right there, huh?
Yeah.
The blue and the green is just strong winds and rains.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the eye of the storm right there.
No, I think that's so funny. Yeah, I read the article and I'm like, I don't think it's really going to convince me, but I do think it helps people who are struggling in their faith to know God's word is real. All these things, just if I can, all these things point to, and maybe it's because I'm just going through Genesis and I feel a certain type of way. All these things point to your faith is real. Go ahead.
I will interject with something that's not a joke. But with having smaller kids, this type of stuff is really cool.
Okay.
Because like their minds are very active. So they're learning new stuff in school. And so you're able to, talk to them about the Shroud of Turan, right? Or you're able to talk to them about stuff like this because they're excited to learn. They haven't been, totally not like us as adults where it's like I'm kind of some people are like I'm done learning, but they're excited to learn.
Right.
They're learning a lot of these stories, as kids, and so you're able to say, hey, like you're learning this, and then this is actual like scientific proof that this stuff is real.
You know what I got to do?
Write a children's book.
No, hey, bro, you do not want me writing a book.
Oh.
It's gonna be the most ghettoest book you've ever seen.
If it's got pictures, I'm in.
You know what I got to do? You know what I got to do for you too? I got to send you guys to Kentucky.
No, I want to go there.
I got to send you to the Noah's Ark Bible Museum. I got to send you guys. Josiah got to get a little bit older because you're gonna lose him there. Because there's like 4 floors. He gonna be having a time. He gonna end up with the characters.
You been there?
Jesus,
of course I've been there. I'm taking my kids. Yeah,
really? I didn't know that.
Of course, yeah. So I think we were there in 2017 or 2018.
Okay.
So that's what I'm telling you. Josiah gonna end up with the real characters in like the little jail cells. Those holding tanks or whatever you want to call them. He gonna be swimming with the fishes. Like he gonna have to be a little bit older because he's already having fun. And then once you try to pull him out of hanging out with the tigers, he's gonna be crying, throwing a fit. But the other 2 are going to do great. They're going to be asking a ton of questions. So I got all your kids are old enough. We got to get you on a plane. We got to get you to Kentucky. This is why I think it hits a little different for me, because I've seen the replica. I've seen it. I've seen how it's worked. It explains so thoroughly. It was one of the best trips I've ever taken, and it helped me to understand these things. Once again, I do agree with you. I don't think many people are going to be persuaded, right? He said, even if I send somebody back from the dead, they're not going to believe. I think, however, for the kids and the next generation, this is only proving you can trust your Bible. You can trust your Bible. You can trust your Bible. So
yeah, there's like a few like things that really hit me when we went to Israel, is like the gates of hell or the gates of Hades, like that story, like things like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or like the eye of the needle, like things like that. Like you see like, oh, this is what he was saying. Those make a big impact for me. Like seeing those stories, you see them like in the context of more of what it
well, and then one of the things that I know that you have said to us and then other people, like the Bible really comes alive when you go to Israel.
Yeah.
And so like that's how it does. Like you really start to read your word differently. Somebody was asking me, I think the other day, like, hey, would you go back? Like, I would go back to Israel every year.
Right.
Just because of how much the scripture comes alive based on what you see. So now hearing you talk about seeing Noah's Ark and the replica of it makes sense.
Yeah, I would say this to you guys as well. So as I'm reading, so we were at the Ark conference, and Pastor Chris Hodges, man of God, love this guy. He's incredible. He starts talking about Beersheba. So I do a deep dive on Beersheba, and that's right next to the Qumran caves. I'm going to Beersheba. I don't care what's there. It's still a city. There's still a well. It's a place of water, and so it's you got a small university there, everything. And I'm like, I gotta go just because I gotta see where Elijah was in Beersheba. Like it just meant something to me, and that's the thing that I find incredible. Like you read about David being in the En-Gedi. I could take you to the En-Gedi where David was. Now, do we know exactly where he was? Well, no, it's a big place, but you understand what I'm saying. Like to me, this blows me away, and so once again. I think for kids and for the youngsters and for everybody or new in their faith, this just tells you your Bible is real. You can trust it. Now that I said all that, we had last week's segment about pastors and when pastors make mistakes. What about when pastors just preach flat out heresy? And I know you like to call him not a pastor. That's your favorite line. Between idiot and not a pastor, that's your shirts right there. Bishop, this is a Baptist pastor. Okay, so I got to go to you. Had it been an atheist pastor, I would have went to you.
Wait.
Okay, so I have to go to you because it's a Baptist pastor. Or if it had just been a white supremacist pastor, then I would defer to you. Okay, so I mean, just throwing that out there.
No, he's from Portland. He gets the rainbows.
Oh, he gets the rainbows.
Hey, any other titles I get? Can we all just read the cards that I just got? Atheist, white supremacist, and rainbow guy.
Sums up Portland. There you go.
Is that not accurate of Portland, or is that pretty Portlandish?
That's pretty dead on.
Okay. In Nikes, though. In Nikes.
In Nikes. Talk about we don't support sweatshops.
Okay, so this was all over every major Christian outlet. I just want you to watch. I want you to listen to this. Go ahead and clip this right here. Go ahead.
Idea that the Bible is teaching people in their 30s, their 40s, and 50s and beyond that if you have you are living in sin and are going to hell, what was not even an ethical issue in the ancient world. So with that in mind, let us stop this game. Let us stop this charade. Let us end this pseudo-spiritual farce that has been propagated on the world up by the church, leading people to believe that is bad and that sexual desires are somehow a reflection of moral decay. Instead, let us remove the stigma and create a culture where people can live their lives, even their sexual lives, without shame, without guilt, without condemnation, without judgment, and without being placed in spiritual bondage. Let's practice safe text. Let us stop using the Bible to ignorantly and falsely further Victorian era ideals about purity and holiness that aren't even based on scripture. Let us not make people feel that in order to be accepted by God, that in order to be spiritual, they cannot be sexual. That leads church to sexual confusion and frustration, a lot of frustration in the body of Christ.
Okay. Wow. All right. Algorithm. Y'all might be wondering what we're laughing at. Don't worry about
We
what
just
we're
got
laughing
that
at.
brother's algorithm.
We got
That's
that
what
brother.
it is.
Hey, we know what that brother looking at. What do you got to say to him? He ain't a pastor, is he?
No.
So
Okay, someone else go. I don't. What is he saying?
okay, but if we're putting him into a category of whose boy is he?
Actually.
Okay, hold on.
Defend him, Deshaun.
Time out. To your defense, and I'm only going to defend you because you only ever like white older pastors. It's me who likes all the black pastors. So
I'm out.
Okay,
I'm out. He's not an atheist.
Yeah.
Gay, white supremacist or gay guy. So
He didn't have no
one of
Nikes
you-
on.
One of you guys got to claim him.
Okay. Hey, what was he thinking? What's he doing?
Well, what is he saying?
He's saying, "Go." What did I hear?
Yeah.
You go sleep around. Why? Did I hear? Did you hear something different?
Like biblical values that are being pushed by the church now are not what God's intention was.
Exactly.
In
He's
Scripture.
saying we all missed the mark that you could be
Yeah.
sleeping around anytime with whoever. If you're in your 20s and 30s, go sleep around.
Yeah.
We're creating people who are confused
Yep.
and frustrated.
Yeah, they're not talking about like, we gotta get rid of the idea of being purity. Because there's one statement he did say that I do agree with, that we have to get rid of the idea that you can't be sexual and spiritual.
Oh,
But in what context? I think that's the part he's missing. That in the context of marriage,
Okay,
you
okay,
can.
I see where
in
you're
the
going.
context
Okay,
of marriage.
okay.
Well, 'cause we see that when people talk about like, a lot of times as a kid growing up, they're like, no, sex is bad, sex is bad. Oh, you're married now, not gonna have sex. Well, you put in my head this whole time that I
Yeah.
shouldn't. And so people
I
have
got
those
you.
struggles in
Yep.
that way. So
Yep.
I know that's like a small section, but that is something that happens. But as I'm looking at him, I was like, oh, he doesn't have a ring on his finger. Now I know some pastors.
I noticed the same thing.
I know some people, they don't wear a ring. They have reasonable vows. Like, he ain't got a ring on his finger. He's trying to free himself up. He wants to be sexual and also be spiritual. He doesn't want those things upon him.
Okay, but my question to you is, what Bible he reading?
Nothing. He's trying to be set free. He just wants to be free.
Okay.
He wants to live.
Okay,
that
can I ask
way.
you something else? What Bible verse does he have?
It's kind of like when you go to somebody else's house and it's board game night
Okay.
and they say, hey, we're playing Uno. How many cards do you deal out? Well, at our house we deal 5, or at your house you deal 7. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And then okay, well, can if I do the draw 2, can you go up on the draw 2?
Yeah.
And then we keep doing it, right?
House rules.
So house rules.
Yep.
It feels like that. That's what he's doing. I think that's kind of what I hear you say is like he's establishing house rules so that everybody knows what he wants to do.
Do you feel bad for the people who are listening to that?
The 6 people who clapped.
Yeah, I'm wondering what they're thinking, because there's people who aren't in church know that ain't true. That ain't right. They hearing that like, what are you saying?
Have not we learned the consequences of having a free actual society? I gotta be careful because we said it so many times now. We're about to get banned everywhere here. But haven't we learned the consequences of people just sleeping around and what's happening, the deterioration of your soul? Paul specifically mentioned, we talk about this all the time, most sins are equal. Paul mentions this is a double felony. You hurt the person and you damn your own soul. You hurt your own soul. I mean, it leaves an impression on your own soul. There is no. Can I? This was not planned, but I just saw that my wife sent this to me last night. Can I just show you somebody? I'm gonna play a little bit of both sides of the coin. Just give me a second. I believe they know a little something about God, but I don't think this conference is about God. Does that make sense? Because they're going to say some things that's very Bible-esque, but I don't think this was a Bible conference. But I just want you to watch this clip because I believe she's onto something. And this is coming, if I can, this is going to come from a worldly standard. Okay, does that make sense? Mm-hmm. But I think we need to show this to everybody because why is the world picking up something that we in the church ain't picking up? Because we got a fool like this trying to preach a different gospel. He is damned to hell. He ain't leading nobody. He himself going to hell. He's the one who Jesus prophesied about, Lord, Lord, on that day, get away from me. I never know you. He don't know God. I don't know what God he knows. He knows the God of pleasure. He don't know the God of holiness. There ain't nothing holy about what he said. He is in danger of hell fire. He better get it right or he gonna get it all the way wrong. And everybody who follows him is a fool. You a fool if you follow it. Because like you said, I'm telling you, this clip, this a worldly clip by all standards. And yet they get it. But I want you to watch this clip right here.
I've been married for more than 15 years.
Congratulations.
I have been in a side relationship that my husband recently found out about. How can I convince my husband to let me keep the side dude?
Well, first of all, he shouldn't. You need to change that convince word to manipulate.
Ooh.
We're not going to play those games right now. You took a vow. You took vows. You stood before God or whatever it is you believe in and said that you were going to love this man in sickness and through health, for rich and for poor. You said that you committed whenever you took that vow. You committed to be there even in the hard times, even in the times where you were not fully emotionally fulfilled. You still took on that position to say that I'm going to have those conversations. I'm going to communicate. I'm not going to breach the trust in this marriage. You lack marital integrity. And if you lack marital integrity, you lack integrity as a person as well. So my next point to make is the audacity must be on sale right now for you to be able to say, how can I convince my husband, a man at that, convince my husband to let me still have a side relationship as if I did not betray this man, as if I did not hurt this man, as if I did not dishonor this man, as if I did not disrespect this man, and you want to ask for something? You want to ask for what it seems like more of a favor because it's only going to work in your favor. It's nothing that is going to work for him. I don't like when we play these games like this. You entered into what you two believe was a monogamous agreement, and you made it a polyamorous thing.
Ooh.
You did.
Ooh.
Let me tell you something else that you did. Let's talk about the lack of responsibility. I'm going to tell you one more thing because I'm sure some other panelists have something to say. This is the problem that I have. Whenever you open up your marriage to something that somebody else did not consent to, if your side piece has depression or anxiety or anything like that, there's a spiritual exchange that takes place when you go sleep with somebody else that you now have invited into your home. So part of the reason why your marriage is not happy is because you were lusting over the fence to begin with.
Ooh.
You invited that into your marriage. You corrupted your home. The best thing for you to do, because he does have the right to leave you, the best thing that you could do, the responsible thing you can do, is either end that relationship on the side or leave that man alone and let somebody else find him.
Clap it up, clap it up.
Woo-wee. Can we just go? We just need to leave the podcast as it is right now, don't we? That was.
She was just saying, like, for example, I asked him for a friend.
Yeah.
She just needs to leave.
She's got to go home.
She's got to.
She got to go.
You can't go sit down.
You can't go sit down. Everybody that knows your business.
You're walking in the foyer. Everybody's.
Yeah. Is that the girl that just got that beat down? Is that the girl that just got whipped? Is that the girl that just got smacked around? Did you see the reactions of people? That last part, Bishop, is what I'm talking about. She said, I don't know whatever God you believe in or whatever you believe in, but spiritually, you done had a transfer. That's what I'm talking about. How do they know this and this pastor don't know this? It's because I think you guys are right. He's trying to self-medicate himself. He's trying to self-soothe and justify what he is doing.
Yeah.
And he is wrong. And we got a group of people out there who don't know that doing this is exactly what the woman said. It is tainting your soul. So what'd you think of that clip, though? That was shots fired. That was good.
Yeah, no, it was really good. It was really good. She didn't compromise. She didn't let her just get away with it. She probably thought coming in, I'm going to find something on my side and, this will be funny and, I'm going to walk away feeling good. And she got the total opposite.
She got the beat down of her life?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Hey, what'd you think about when the brother got up and walked out?
Yeah, that was good. I think everybody was kind of like, I'm not asking my question now. Yeah, you're not after that. I do think that we are starting to see, we talked about this a while back, I think, as well, a shift of the world, seeing the depravity that, it's just so bad with the, just for friends, what is it?
Yeah.
Only friends?
Yeah. OnlyFans. Yeah.
OnlyFans.
Now you done gave somebody an idea to make one with OnlyFriends.
I don't know,
This
man.
is not good.
But like with that, and then like with our kids in school and all the stuff that they're pushing, all the trans agenda, I think like even people who aren't looking at things through a biblical perspective are seeing like how far this has gone.
We too far.
And they're able to see like this is just too much.
We too far.
This is just too much. And so even I think that this clip highlights that, like even people who maybe are a little bit towards the middle, she probably has some sort of biblical background. For her even to bring that up,
that's
the
what I
spiritual
said.
side,
Yeah, absolutely.
But maybe not going to church or having a relationship with Jesus, whatever, right? So even people who are living in the middle are able to see like, hey, we have swung too far when it comes to some of this stuff.
Yeah. Anything you wanted to add to that?
No.
I mean, she was fired. That was good. Yeah,
it was good.
Give her a talk show. That's what we need. We need more of that. So this weekend, I preached on the life of Moses. We were in Acts 7. And, of course, he had a long, I think it was like 14 verses on the life of Moses. This is just my question to you guys. Did you learn anything new or did something stand out to you about the life of Moses? I love the life of Moses. And what did you think of my story at the end with Nashan, who stepped into the water and then the water parted? But go ahead, Token, what you got?
Yeah, I think my one takeaway from this weekend. I mean, you had a few points that I had written down. The devil will always bring conflict to your calling.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really great point. Just having been on that side where there's a wrestle, and then unfortunately, you had brought up a conversation that you had with Pastor Ron, and him talking about like every time that he goes to speak, there's still like conflict and there's still a wrestle. Yeah. That did not bring any hope to me.
How do you think I felt when he said it to me?
I literally said, "Oh, great." I'm sure people around me heard me say that. I was like, man, because there is this conflict. Like I know that even when I speak, like there's a little voice in my head that's always saying, "Hey, you missed it," or "This you don't have enough," or you don't know about this. You don't know enough about this topic in order to speak on who are you to share, and like all those different things. There's that rub. There's that conflict, and then also walking alongside of people who have been saying yes to Jesus. And how you can see the rub with them as well. And so I could really relate to that point.
What about you, Bishop? What you got?
It's funny. Every time I hear someone say they're nervous, I always think of the other pastor that you really like. The pastor.
Craig Rochelle?
No. The
Chris
one as
Hodges?
well.
Mike Todd?
Jensen Franklin.
Love
that guy.
I remember at a conference, he goes, "I ain't nervous. I do this. I know what I'm doing up here."
Oh.
Oh my. Can you hear pastor say nervous? He's like, "Nah, I ain't nervous."
I love it.
But it's like go to God, go to your Creator to find out who you are.
Oh yeah,
and I think that's so important for people just to do. Like you don't define yourself. You don't let anyone define yourself. You go to God. Because that doesn't change. Which the way you feel, the way someone else feels about you can change. You're great one day and they think you're evil the next day. But God, when He says this is who you are, this is who you are. Period. So go on to Him.
I do. I wanted to expound a little bit more. I have two thoughts, and then this is just one's like a brain teaser. What was Moses' real name? I don't have that answer, by the way. That was not rhetorical. I don't expect me to have that answer, because he was drawn out of the reed. That's what Pharaoh's daughter named him, to how I understand. Moses drawn out of the reed. But when you say it in the Hebrew, Moshe, it means to be called forth from water or called out of the water, which ends up being a very prophetic name for Moses, because not only was Moses drawn out of the water, but he himself would draw others out of the water. So I thought that was interesting. But those are the two questions I have, and I just want to encourage everybody to really study the life of Moses. He's such a key figure. He is on the Mount of Transfiguration. We see Moses and Elijah. How they know it was him is the question. That's what everybody always asks. How'd they know it was Moses? He had been long gone. The disciples had never seen him. Some people really believe he had 10 commandments in his hand. He had the 2 tablets. Some people believe you are known as you are known, that you will literally know who this person is, even though you don't know him because you never met him. You will be known. So that takes away all the mystification of when you go to heaven. You will know Paul when you see him. You will know David when you see him. You'll know Samson when you see him, because you are known as you are known. I think of all these things, and the one thing that I love about Moses, and I truly love about Moses, is Moses advocates for people, very rarely advocates for himself. That's a shepherd. That's a pastor. Even though he gets frustrated with the people, Remember, people say, what do you love about ministry? People. What do you hate about ministry? People. Right? It's hard and it's easy. It's fun and it's trying. But he hardly ever advocates for himself, but yet he advocates for his sister. He advocates for his brother. He advocates for the people of God. But he very seldom, excuse me, he doesn't put up a fight to go into the promised land. He doesn't beg God. He doesn't plead with God. He doesn't say, that's not fair. I did all this for you. You were going to wipe him out a chapter ago, and now I don't get to go. Moses just takes it like a man. He goes, all right, I'm not going in. Well, who do you want me to raise up? And he was not afraid to give away authority and give away the anointing. He was not afraid to pass the baton. When Joshua started hanging out, he didn't push Joshua aside. He let him linger a little longer. And what principles we can learn as leaders today? Who am I looking to pass the baton to? And will I let them hang in that inner circle? Why? Because if you linger a little longer, you'll understand who the Creator is. And you'll understand how truly and wonderful Yahweh is. And so he let Joshua do that. I'm fascinated. I believe there's so many leadership principles we can learn. Now, of course, the ultimate leader was Jesus. Amen. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. It's just when you compare yourself to Jesus, you always know you fall short. So to find a second leader like a Moses or a David and start to emulate what they did, I'm telling you now, the leadership principles there are absolutely endless. So I just want to encourage everybody with that. All right. I wanted to get to what is going to be our subject right here today. I got a bone to pick with you two, and I specifically didn't tell you this when we were in my office. And here's my bone to pick with you. I feel like we have a double standard. Okay. This last weekend, I say the last weekend, I mean from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, just this last week. But it started heating up on Friday, Saturday. We had two major things happen. Number one, Miles Minnick, who is a Christian rap artist, and he calls himself a Christian rap artist, dropped a new album, and E40's on the album. And all of a sudden, everybody, yes, the man himself, the Slanglystics himself is there.
Oh, I might listen to it.
So he drops this album. He's got E40 on. He's got Lecrae, and everybody's coming after him.
Oh, Lecrae's on it?
Lecrae's on it. Oh. Now,
I take E40 though.
Okay, you take E40 over Lecrae. Okay, that's funny. But in the same breath,
I keep it real.
Okay, but in the same breath, we have Wes Huff go on the Flagrant podcast with Andrew Schultz and a whole bunch of comedians, and nobody's saying anything. They're praising Andrew Schultz. They're praising Wes Huff. What an amazing job. Can't believe the gospel went on this. I feel like we have a double standard. I feel like when it comes to the Christian hip hop, they got to keep it extra holy. But when you're a theologian, you're allowed to go on anything.
Okay, I have to interject. I know E40. Not like we boys or anything, but I don't really know Andrew Schultz. So, can you give me, some context of,
one of the fastest rising comedians? Actually, all of his guys on there.
Why are you bringing it up? I don't understand.
Well, he's very dirty.
Okay, so, he's on there with a bunch of dirty comedians?
Oh, for sure.
Got it.
Yeah, there's a lot dirtier, but he's dirty. Yeah.
So,
there is a lot. I agree with you. He's not Chappelle.
Yeah, he's not yeah.
He's a Matt Rife though.
Yeah.
He's a Matt Rife.
He will have a segment but then he'll go to some stuff you can listen to, but then it'll be stuff about really bad.
So he's not heady like Rogan.
No, but they're tight.
He is smart though.
He's
a smart dude.
Hey, he's well versed. He won't come to you if he don't know it. He'll stay out of it. But if he knows it, he'll come after you. He made a lot of headway. If I can, he made a lot of headway right now because he went from being a Democrat to a Republican, and he defended himself. And what turned him off was COVID. And then what turned him off was the Trump assassination attempt and all the stuff that turned a lot of people from.
I've seen him, but I've never seen his.
Yeah, but that's the only reason why he blew up. And they tried to cancel him, and he blew up all the more. And he got rid of the politically correct comedian stuff. So he says stuff that him and Charlamagne the God are like best friends.
Yeah. Okay.
But their podcast, their podcast is really colorful in the sense, and I'm not talking about nastiness or anything. I'm talking about they really do talk about issues. They cuss a lot, but they do talk about issues people won't talk about, and they do respect each other's opinions, which is just unheard of right now. So I do listen to it, even though there's a lot of language, but I'm at least two grown people's having a conversation instead of just canceling each other. And they're not afraid to call each other. And here's what I love about it. And the other one will say, I just don't see it the way you see it. All right, well, let's still be friends. So I'm just saying, but am I right on the double standard?
No. Not even close.
Okay, go ahead. Explain your position.
No, he's claiming that he's doing Christian music. With someone
I'm sorry, who's doing Christian music?
Whoever.
Miles Minnick.
Well, yeah, whoever.
He is doing Christian music.
Okay, with E40.
Well, okay.
He's doing mission. Yeah. Hey, so there we go.
Hold on. Oh, hey, you know how I knew I was ready for you? You know how I knew I was ready for
What,
you?
Jesus Christ had dreads too, or what?
This is a slapping beat, just so you know.
Okay, but
hold on. They're going to put this on so they can hear it. You're going to hear it.
I got hustle in my bones and my arteries in my spine. Every day is communion because I drink my own wine.
I heard that Miles Minnick signed with E40.
Here we go. Watch this.
When I see greatness, man. I see a big future for Miles. I love the message. I'm a man of God. You know, I'm Reverend Thurman's grandson. Locked in like that, and I got a big heart, and I know if none of this would happen for me, my success, no nothing without the Lord. Come on, you know what I mean? So everybody knowing my music, you've heard me speak on it. I cry right now because they know what it is. They know I'm godly, bro, and I love to see my man's doing this thing, man, and bringing other people in on the game where it's not violent. It's not like he's just speaking his truth. Yeah. And the music is a different thing. The music is turn up music. And he got the performance, he got the whole woo-wop. He's locked in. He one of them ones. Look for him in the future, trust me. Right now, look for him now.
So that's helping?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Nah. Check this out, though.
You guys are leaving me out here, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't know where you're going.
I'm godly. I'll cry right now.
I'm Reverend Thurman's grandson. Yeah.
That means me. I'm going to heaven.
Can we get every day?
Oh my. Now listen,
Jeremy, I don't feel like I'm winning this battle over here, dog. I feel like everybody's abandoning me right now. Jump ship, boy. I'm on my own arc over here.
I do like E40. Okay, but
yeah, he raps really well.
Yeah.
Hey, he had bars right there, though.
I liked it. It was nice. It wasn't glorifying any
but let me
violence.
I'm not trying
great.
to defend my stance, but I'm going to defend my position here. I just feel like, why can't he collab? What's wrong with that collaboration? He's not telling you to listen to him. He's not even validating. He's just letting him collaborate.
Oh, you are. If you partner with him in that way.
Okay, so what about Wes Huff being on this podcast?
He's sharing the gospel. We need to go share the gospel with people. He's over here proving the Bible to be accurate and true, answering questions for people.
Okay, have you listened? This is a 3-hour podcast.
Oh yeah.
Do you know how much cussing's on here?
Oh, a ton of it.
And you know how much they're making fun of people on this?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, they make some remarks about Jesus.
That's what I'm saying.
100%.
Okay, so how's that any different than what E40 doing?
Because he's defending the faith. How is he defending the faith?
Miles is defending it.
With who? He's partnering with E40.
I see. I just see it different.
No, he's putting out the album, saying, "Hey, go play this. Listen to this." He's promoting E40.
I don't see him promoting E40. He's promoting his album that has E40 on it. Just like they're promoting. Okay, real quick. Schultz and them is promoting the heck out of this Wes Huff thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they're getting people. It's funny. They're getting people to their page. They never got to their page, and Wes Huff is getting people to his page. He never got to their page. That's all I'm saying.
People
here
are hearing the gospel.
Yeah, I agree with you. Miles rap is good. Like, you will hear the gospel in his rap. This is a turn up song. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is just put it on. You're having people over for a barbecue.
Yeah,
there's
no one's
cussing.
hearing the gospel. No one's getting convinced that the Bible's true.
I'm admitting that here. Give me a second, Bishop, would you? Man, I'm admitting that this is a feel good. You barbecuing. You got your friends over. This is stuff you don't have to turn off when the kids come around. Why can't we have that? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, for Christian rap, I really don't care. I mean, it's whatever. But worship music, I have a different opinion.
I do, which by the way, you and I agree with it on the worship music. I'm saying for this, friends is coming over. You don't got to turn this off when the kids show up. That's all I was going at. But I don't think we need to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I think we need to let Miles do his thing, and as long as he's not compromised, as long as he is preaching the gospel, he's getting on stages where I've watched him. He went to some festival this last year, and he preached the gospel. And it was a huge fest with no Christian rapper. He was on Sway, and Sway got him onto this concert, and he preached that gospel when no other Christian artist, not even Lecrae, had been on that stage. And then he's talking about invitations to Coachella, all this stuff. As long as he stays true to his walk with Jesus, not his own truth, I saw that, but he stays to the walk with Jesus, I think God wants to open doors, get him on stages to preach to people who wouldn't listen. That's all I'm saying.
What about if he signed to E40's label?
Okay, so I have a little different opinion on that.
Does it sway?
It doesn't sway me, and here's why. Because as a believer, every label is owned by a larger label. So whether by defuncto or not, you're getting on one of these major labels. You know, if you're turning into a big artist, like somebody's gonna pick you up and just have you on an under label. That's how they all work. So do I think that that's the wisest decision? Like, I have two concerns. You see, you're looking at me like I done lost my mind again. You're looking at me like I lost my mind again. I have two concerns. Number one is I have concern like that Lecrae's kind of take him under his wing. And the reason I'm concerned, this could either be a good thing or a bad thing. Either Lecrae can help him.
Well, there's no more Diddy parties.
Well, thank you, Jesus.
So,
but there's still parties.
Yeah. So
okay, just without Diddy. Maybe
but with Lecrae.
Okay, but what I'm saying is maybe Lecrae can teach him not to make his same mistakes. That's what I'm hoping. But also, I'm hoping Lecrae could be wisdom for him and, hey, you don't want to go down this path. Kind of keep him on the straight and narrow. My bigger concern is if Lecrae wasn't able to handle the success and it got him into a depression, into all this other stuff, how's it going to help Miles? That's my concern. Second, when you rise too fast with lights and platforms, you usually become a shooting star. And what happens to a shooting star? You fade out. You start making those mistakes. So I do have legitimate concerns. I don't know who Miles' pastor is, but I'm going to be honest with you. I met Miles. At a mutual friend church. He was really unknown then. And I sat this close to him, right where Nate is to me. I had a very, very good conversation with him. He was very intelligent, very well spoken, knew his Bible, loved the Lord. So I'm just saying, I do have the same concerns as you do. But I do think it's okay to have good turn-up Christian music. That doesn't always got to be about the death, resurrection of Christ. It could also be fun, shouting out where you're from, repping.
Yeah, you can just call it just don't call it Christian rap. Just say like this is some clean rap.
Okay, which by the way, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with just clean rap. I just think because I don't think he wears that as a label. I think people just label him that because he is a Christian. But I do want to support the brother if he's going to get on stages and be able to preach the gospel. That's all. Bishop. I see a bigger picture here. Okay, what is God up to that these doors are being opened? Joe Rogan, Andrew Schultz, Theo Vaughn, all these huge, Bill Maher. He's funny. Bill Maher, all these guys, like they're getting the gospel, like, and all these major shows, they're asking these people, God is doing something. So listen, I grew up to 40. I'm going to be honest. I grew up to 40. I know a lot of his rap songs still. You can put on a song, I'm probably rapping. It's probably not good, but it's in the memory bank. Okay. I grew up to Too Short. If somebody's going to reach him, somebody's got to reach him. Worship, there's an old saying, missions exist because worship doesn't. Missions exist because worship doesn't. We got to get the gospel to these people. I think people are hungry, D. That's all I'm saying. Now, I don't know if hopefully Miles could do it. Hopefully he stays on the straight and narrow. But I'm thinking God is doing something. I think we're in revival and we don't see it. I really do. I think we're in the midst of revival and we don't see it yet. We're not recognizing it. We can't see the forest beyond the trees. Like we don't realize it's happening. And I'm just saying, it's that Jesus moment. He goes, don't say 3 months to the harvest. The harvest is now. Pray for laborers. He might be the laborer. I'm just throwing that out there because I watched that entire West. I'm telling you right now, I don't promote any podcast with cursing it. Okay. So just hear me out. That 2-hour mark of the flagrant, foul, whatever it is, podcast with Schultz and Wes Huff, that 2-hour mark for an hour and 12 minutes was mind blowing. I mean, put the kids away. You as a grown adult, you need to listen to that. That last 30 minutes blew my mind. That last 10 minutes when he explains the Trinity to Andrew Schultz and them, I rewound. I was in awe and disbelief that on this secular, very secular podcast, this guy let him have free reign to explain the gospel of salvation to a Hindu. I don't know, man. I just see God moving. I see him doing something, and I want to make sure we don't have a double standard. That's all I'm saying.
No, it's not. You preaching a gospel and you rap and you have a little rap song. It's not the same thing. There's no way. This is the same thing. It's not. That music, maybe what he can do later on, maybe something different, but the music is not the same thing. Him partnering with him is not even close to the same thing. It's in different worlds.
I see you. I will see you on the music. That this is just good, clean rap, turn up music. Let's have a good time. But I will challenge you on if he is preaching that gospel at the end and pointing people to the cross, that was just simply an apparatus. just real quickly, there's nothing different than that in the Mars Hill speech, the Mars Hill sermon that Paul gave, where he did not really use the gospel at all. He used other philosophers and he used human reason to get along. And then he segued the gospel in there. But he didn't start out that way. He goes, I see that you've written to an unknown God. He's quoting a philosopher. And then in him we live and move or have our being is a different philosopher. So that's all I'm saying. So I'll concede that the music, but man, sometimes we just need an open door.
No, but
I went to a car show. Hey, listen, I went to a car show because I took my car out to a car show. Rick invited me. And I got to share with people. They want to know who I was, who built this thing. Like, how did you get this? What did you do? And I'm like, and then Rick just lets the cat out of the bag super quick. He goes, well, he's a pastor. And I'm like, oh, snap. Okay, now they're going to want to talk to me. You know what I mean? I like to kind of slide and be smooth and get in there a little bit. And I'm just saying we use different entryways to get the gospel out. That's all I'm saying. But I agree with you. There's nothing really Christian about that music other than the person who's singing it. So I won't argue that. But I do think he's getting avenues to preach the gospel.
We hope so.
Okay. That's all. I'm glad we can see eye to eye. I'm glad you came over to my side.
Or he's collecting the check. We'll find out.
Well, he's for sure collecting a check. Let's not argue that. What were you going to say? You were going to chime in.
Nope, I'm good. I don't. You guys did good.
Okay. So I want to play, just I want to give people a sample if I can. This is Wes Huff on, did I get the podcast wrong? No, it's Flagrant.
No, it's Flagrant.
Flagrant podcast, right? Flagrant podcast. So watch this right here. This is Wes Huff doing a great job.
Christianity is the fittest stepping down and sacrificing himself for the survival of the weakest. And that changes things in that mercy and justice are not pitted against each other. It's not justice at the expense of mercy. It's not mercy at the expense of justice. They're actually accomplished together in the act of the cross, where the self-volunteering of Jesus going to the cross, right? He says, no one takes my life from me. I give it of my own accord.
This is why forgiveness is an accomplishable goal, even for the most heinous act, because God has already taken on the punishment for that heinous act that person committed.
Well, and forgiveness is costly, right? Like there's always a cost to forgiveness somewhere. And so
I'm just saying in general, that perceived lack of justice doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Yes, this person killed somebody. Yeah, Jesus died on the cross for that very thing that person did. Yeah. It's not this person killed somebody. All right, how are we going to reconcile this? Do we give him 20 lashes? What is the thing for this act?
Right.
And who gets to decide that? It's already been decided. Right. So now we can go forgive.
It's not a points-based system either, which also gets hairy with like, so Islam has this concept within the Quran of the scales.
Okay.
Right? So you do bad things, you just try to outweigh them with your good things. There's a weird subjectivity to that.
Right, because who decides,
And actually Isaiah says that our righteous acts are like filthy rags. And the term there, it's debated, but could actually mean something like menstrual rags. Like they're not just dirty and gross, and it's like ritually impure with stuff you don't want to get near. And so it's like, look, God, look at all the good things I'm doing. And he's like, you don't understand compared to my holiness how like far that measures up. And so once again, God doesn't need to do any of this. God doesn't need to create. God doesn't need to forgive. God doesn't need to give mercy or justice. But the fact that he does, and then calls us all into that, to turn away. So the word repentance in Greek, metanoite, actually means to change one's mind and actions and attitudes. Like it's less of a, just don't do it anymore. It's more of like metanoia, change your brain. Like change it entirely. Your thought patterns start. It's what I talked about before with the 10 Commandments. Like you're seeing it as a command, and God is saying, no, it's a promise. You don't need to steal. You don't need to murder. You don't need to lie. You don't need to. Those are promises that God makes to you because of who you are through what he can do.
And then if you don't change, you said you either become Adam or you become Christ, right?
Well, so it's like when you stand before the judgment throne, you're either going to take the penalty you deserve, or you're going to be covered in the righteousness of Christ, and that penalty is on him.
Absolutely incredible. What'd you think of that? What'd you think of that clip right there?
Yeah, I mean, it's really good. I mean, it was better than when I first heard it. Like just hearing it over again, and because I was like, man, I wish he would talk more about the holiness of God, and he actually did. It just, you listen that long. I'm just, blowing through it. Just like, yeah, like your works are they're not good enough, and just to understand that, like you can't. Because even in this podcast, they mentioned like everyone has an idea of like wrong and right, and what are you going to do with that wrong? Like, what are you going to do with it? And you think, oh, if I just do enough good works, but Scripture tells us, it's nothing. Like, it's still not good. You don't understand my holiness if you think you're going to work enough to equal up to what I am. And so it's powerful, and that's what I'm saying. Like, hearing this is a lot different than hearing a rap. Like, this is
not
so
arguing.
powerful.
Not arguing. Yeah, I'm not arguing that. But I do want to warn people. They get a little crude in there at times.
Oh,
with him,
there's some bad stuff
with him.
Yeah.
And so, and he himself, Wes, will say a few curse words. We need to be transparent with the audience and what they're getting into. However, when it comes to defending the gospel, he is good. He's good. I mean, overall, how would you rate that podcast overall?
I think it's great. I think it was really good. I mean, I think it's especially anyone who maybe struggles with their faith, or you say I know someone that's like an unbeliever, that to listen to this to show like, no, we can defend our faith. Yeah. Like, it's not something just like, oh man, you guys follow this person, I don't know if it's real. It's like, no, listen to this, and you get to hear all the people, how people question our faith. Like, they're there and answering all these questions. It's really good. And
it's not a fairy tale. This is the real deal. So I want to end off with this question, guys. Thank you so much for the back and forth. Even though we disagree a little bit on some things, I think we agree on the overarching thing is we need to preach the gospel at all times. Once again, missions exist because worship doesn't. In other words, there's not people worshiping because we need to be on mission. We need to be sharing this gospel. So, Mike, that leads me to right here. Let's say we got people listening, and graduation is upon us. We got people graduating everywhere. There's going to be graduation parties. And so we're going to get invited to families and to friends. And, of course, there's going to be some, situations where we get placed into where we may not be comfortable. We're going to be seeing some old friends. We're going to be seeing some old family members. How do we effectively preach the gospel yet not fall into sin? Because that's really what we're saying we're starting to feel for miles. You keep hanging around these people where you're more than likely going to get caught up. And I get that. I would say the same thing to Wes. You keep going on all these podcasts. You yourself got to stay accountable and got to stay prayed up. So what advice would you give? Although I will say this, one is more conducive to a lifestyle than others. I will say that, the rap industry. I will say that. Yeah, podcasts and rapping concerts, there's a big difference.
You being known as a Bible expert and you being known as a rapper.
Yeah, I agree. And then the atmospheres are different. I get it. But some of these people, you know what I'm saying? Okay. So, Mike, what would you say? What advice would you give to people that they do have unsafe friends and they're still going over watching Monday Night Football with the guys, and there's weed and alcohol, but how do you keep a witness and still share faith? Or do you just completely cut off everybody and excommunicate them? Like, what are some steps we can do, like a West Huff, to get into some environments that no one's a believer, but yet we are sharing faith? What advice would you give them? How would you tell them to walk that out? What would you say to them?
Man, that's got a lot of layers to it. I would say for somebody who's kind of wondering, like, how do I walk out still having friends and family who are living a different lifestyle than I am, and I'll speak to the person who's coming from that.
Okay.
You're changing, or you've kind of felt like you've all the way changed, or you gave up the drink, you gave up the smoke, you gave up the partying. But yeah, you still have those people who are close to you. How do you still have a relationship with people like that? I would say there's a couple things. The first thing is you got to make sure that you're not lying to yourself.
Okay.
Just be real. Like, if you can't be around alcohol at all, like, don't lie to yourself and feel like you can be around just for a little bit, or maybe I have one. Nah, just know that's a boundary that you can't cross. Be real with yourself. And then also you got to know your boundaries. You have to know, like, are you able to be in an environment that has all those different things that you used to do and not fall back? I know, like, for myself, what I would do with friends who are still living in that lifestyle or things like that, I would find a happy medium, in the sense of I would find a place or an event that would allow me to still be with those people that didn't have all the extra curriculars.
Gotcha.
So, like, for instance, if they hit me up and they're like, hey, we're going out, you want to come kick it? I'd be like, no, I'm good. Or if they said, hey, you want to come over for my daughter's birthday party? Okay. Most of the time they weren't smoking and drinking and partying at the daughter's birthday party. Not always. You got to know your friends.
# Portland.
You got to know your friends. And so, you just got to know what is best for you. I think oftentimes we're told as we're younger, don't be selfish, don't be selfish. But as you get older, like you need to be selfish. You need to be looking out for yourself. Like you need to be walking the line, and you need to be walking for Christ, because at the end of the day, it is you who gives account. So it's that, am I selfish? Am I not selfish? Do I cut these people off? Do I not cut these people off? You've got to make sure that you're being the best version of you. And for some people, it is a hard cutoff, and for others, you try to find the happy medium.
Love it. What you got, Bishop? That was great. That was really good. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna living for Christ. If you're coming, to Christ, you have to realize you are gonna lose some friends. So you got to get over that. That hey, there's some people who are not gonna be around. Some people are not gonna like it, and then find ways to like dictate the terms of like if you want to keep friends. Like, but I can't do that, but I'll take you out for your birthday. We can do breakfast tomorrow. So there's ways that you can still show those people you love them and you care for them and be in a relationship with them, but so you get to change the terms a little bit. These are times where I'm available where I could do this with you, and they're sort of going to learn like, okay, they won't come to the birthday party because everyone's be drinking and smoking, but they still love me because they'll take me out for dinner or whatever on your terms, and really planning for that. Well, I think will help you keep those relationships and realize some relationships you might lose.
I think, man, you guys' answers were just incredible. What I heard, and I'm just going to kind of package it a little different, is find common ground. With those friends, I agree, Bishop, those who are going to stay in the picture, right? Because some are just going to cut you off. And by the way, those who cut you off, they weren't really loving you. They were using you to begin with. Because you don't cut off people you love. You cut off people you were using, and you find no more place for them. You find no more use for them. Because love sticks around. And so I'm going to put it that way. So for the people who we're still loving each other, we're still in community, we're still close friends, or we're still close family, then we're going to just find the common ground. Like you said, whether it's a birthday party or it's their own personal birthday, a graduation party. And I'm going to throw this out there. I think y'all knew this. I think you were walking around a little bit. I always practice one little principle. I show up early. If I know there's going to be something going on, and by the way, I don't play Mr. Holiness over there, where if there's any drinking at all, I'm not going to show up. This is what I do. If I know there's going to be some alcohol or there's going to be some things popping off a little bit later, then if the party started at 5, I'm going to show up about 4:45. I'm going to get there a little early. Because, to be honest, nothing starts happening until the sun goes down or it gets a little bit later. And I'm going to show up a little bit early. And, normally when you show up a little bit early, you're part of that setup team because people are still setting up, which I don't mind. I'm all good with that. I'll set up some chairs and put some tablecloths and stuff like that. And what I do is I just kind of start to watch how things are going. I usually have it in my mind, probably within an hour and a half in. It's probably going to be about my time to bounce out. But while I'm there, I'm salt and I'm light. I'm trying to lend an extra helping hand. I'm trying to meet people. I'm trying to have conversation. I'm trying to interject myself with prayer. If I'm meeting somebody for the first time, hey, how you doing? Oh, hey, how's everything going? Because maybe I heard a cousin had cancer or something. I ask those questions. Hey, how's that going with the treatment? Oh, do you mind if I pray for you right now? I'm trying to be the hands and the feet of Jesus. So I don't get sucked in, and so I don't get influenced. Once I see things starting to take a little bit of a turn, is when I go ahead and I excuse myself. Hey, thank you for having me. It was such an honor and a pleasure to be here. Whoever's party it was, whatever, I give them a hug. I tell them I'm so happy for them. Congratulations, whatever it may be. And then I go ahead and I leave. I dismiss myself. So I don't know if that helps you or not helps you, but what I've realized is that I've been able to still be salt and light without compromising my own personal walk with Jesus. I hope this has blessed you. This has been the Not Offended Podcast. Peace. Wow.